Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jozef Tanczos. I'm the CSO of Angel Valve Vienna, a company which was founded by Professor Moll, who's a former cardiac surgeon and a training professor at the University of Vienna. We are developing the mitral butterfly for treatment of mitral regurgitation. As you have heard during the conference, the mitral regurgitation is really a big problem, and approximately 2% of the global population will suffer or suffers today from mitral regurgitation. Approximately 1/3 of these patients suffer from severe mitral regurgitation, which requires treatment. And the golden standard today is surgery. But on average, less than 5% of patients get treated. And it's not because of access to medical care in the first world, but it's really because of the limitation of today's technologies. Patients who are aged above 65, patients who are frail, they are very often turned down by the surgeons because they won't be able to go through the surgical approach, which lasts several hours. Though the outcomes of the surgical approach is very good, the surgical repair brings good outcomes. Therefore, the medical industry started to develop transcatheter approaches which would allow treatment of these patients who are not eligible for surgical treatment. Today, the market is dominated by transcatheter edge-to-edge repair devices. But despite the effort of the industry to improve the delivery as well as improve the design of these devices, still 1/3 of the patients end up with suboptimal outcomes in terms of reducing mitral regurgitation. What we also know that generally in some of these patients, one clip doesn't do the trick. These patients need then 2 or sometimes even 3 clips to reduce the mitral regurgitation to an acceptable value. But by introducing so many clips, you're reducing the orifice area and creating a stenosis, which has then an impact on the outcome of these patients later down on the road. Also, the mitral valve is really a big valve, and it comes with all of the forms and variations. And its proximity to aortic valve makes a challenge for TMVR devices in terms of anchoring the device properly. Many of these devices have a bulky part in the ventricle, which is obstructing the LVOT outflow tract, and because of the oversizing of these devices, very often the aortic function is impaired. Therefore, to address this unmet need, we are developing the mitral butterfly, which is a nitinol frame covered by a pericardial patch. And because of this unique design of our device, we have a very compliant implant, which adapts to a wide range of anatomies as well as different etiologies of the disease when we speak about FMR and DMR. We have designed the device to match the native anatomy, and we are eliminating the MR while still keeping the full opening of the mitral valve when needed. Using a transseptal approach or a surgical transatrial approach, we are first sliding our passive anchoring by a clasp behind the posterior leaflet, which is the leaflet which is most of the time the diseased one. And then we are opening our valve, the ears of our valves, like a butterfly. That's why we have called our device mitral butterfly. By opening the ears, we are creating a full coaptation area from commissure to commissure and allowing an unobstructed function of the native and impaired anterior leaflet. We have done several or extensive bench testing in-house, as well as have done several animal trials so far. And as you can see on some of these images, when we look into the left atrium, you can nicely see the coaptation area and the engagement of the anterior leaflet with our device. And if we look at the ventricular view of the same perfused heart, we can nicely see not only the engagement of the anterior leaflet and its unimpaired function, but also an unimpaired function of the aortic valve. This has been proven also in several acute animals, and as you can see nicely on these 3D echo images or on this 2D echo image, we are creating a full coaptation area, allowing elimination of the regurgitation. Together with GE and their latest top-notch echo technology, we have worked on several bench testings where we have assessed the footprint of our valve in the mitral valve. And as you can see from these images, on the right-hand side, you have the native valve and the same valve when our mitral butterfly is implanted. We are reducing the orifice area by less than 25%, while the commissure-to-commissure distance, while the coaptation length, as well as the LVOT area, stays unchanged. This hasn't been achieved so far by none of the devices on the market. We can crimp today our device to 24 French, but with our next generation device, where we plan to implement or replace the pericardial patch by polymeric leaflet, we will be able to downsize the crimping profile even more. We really therefore believe that our mitral butterfly will show functional and procedural superiority by complete correction of mitral regurgitation. We do have passive anchoring, which is a big advantage. We have a full opening of the valve. Also, we are not obstructing the outflow tract. We are using imaging algorithms to guide the physician, and we do have a plan to implement an innovative polymeric substitute to the classical pericardial patch, which is used today. Our mission is to bring this device not only to the physician and to create for them a good experience with the device, but also to make sure that the patients get the best outcome. Therefore, we are working very closely with the industry leaders to create an algorithm that would allow us personalized treatment of these patients, that would allow physicians to prepare to do the pre-procedural navigation, training, and then later on, during the procedure, to do a proper guiding of the implementation. We have global IP portfolio, 13 patents across the globe, and I believe, the market opportunity is here huge. That's undisputed. But the market is very much segmented. You have the surgical approaches, you have the TMVI, you have the TEER approaches. We believe that due to the unique design and the anatomical adaptation of our valve, we are able to unify this market, and we are able to treat not only the 70% of patients which are treated today with different devices or techniques, but we can address also those ones which are not treated and are excluded today. So far, we have had seed funding, and we have received several national grants. Beginning of this year, we have received an EIC accelerator, which allows us to bring the company and the device to the first in-man application, which is planned beginning of 2025. And currently, we are here to start raising 8 to 12 million in our Series A, which should bring the company to the next inflection point. Of course, none of this would be possible without a team, and within our incubator in Vienna, we are combining not only the long-lasting experience from industry, but also the innovative potential of young scientists. We believe that growing this team will allow us to bring this product to the market and generate value not only to the patient, but also to the investors. Therefore, thank you very much for your attention, and we are inviting you to participate in our success.